Hi everyone, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Aileen, and here we like to talk about all things makeup, mostly luxury makeup, skincare, and fashion. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I hope you consider subscribing and joining the family. It's right down here. It says subscribe, hit that notification bell to be notified of future videos, and let's get to it. So today, I want to talk about the new Dior Backstage Concealer. I did pick this up in 2N as well as 3N. I want to compare it to the 3N and 2N Dior products that I already have. I've been playing around with it. I am 38 years old. I have oily skin. I tend to have some dryness under my eyes sometimes, depending on how I prep my skin. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then keep on watching. But before, again, like we always say, comment with your thoughts, like this video, and subscribe. Let's get to it. So let's talk about the concealer. It does come in a box like so. It is supposed to be a full coverage concealer. And the claims are that it is a high coverage, natural glow finish, crease proof, waterproof concealer. Those are a lot of claims. And concealer, I feel, is one of those things that we're always looking for, like the best, the next and best. They all promise so much. Let's get real. Like, they promise so much, and some of them are epic fails and don't meet the expectations. So here it is. This is the Dior Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer. This is 2N and this is 3N. So let me give you a swatch. So this is the 2N of the Dior Backstage. And you can see there it has a thick consistency, yet it still has a glow. So I want to show you the Dior Forever Skin Correct in comparison, which is also in the shade 2N. And I believe this 2N does appear darker. So this is the 2N of the Skin Correct. There is a tinge more pigment in this shade than this shade, which is why, and I thought that to be the case when I was shopping online, which is why I picked up two shades, as well as to see if the 3N, which is the shade of my Backstage foundation, which is what I have on. I only have my brows and my foundation, and this is what I'm wearing. And this is in 3N. So let's swatch 3N. And I usually spot conceal, and I was like, it would be nice to have the 3N if it's the same shade to spot conceal. So even though I thought the shades were a little different, I really didn't think I wouldn't use both. So this is 3N in the Dior Backstage. So this is the Backstage 2N, the Forever Skin Correct in 2N, and the Dior Backstage in 3N. So I'm just gonna swatch my foundations that are in 3N so that you can see how they compare. So this is the Dior Air Flash in 3N, and you can see that here. It is a little warmer, so I'm not sure if the intention was because most like their concealer to be just a tinge lighter than their foundation. If the intention was to intentionally make it lighter so that you can, if you're 3N, use 3N. As you can see there, the 3N looks a tad warmer, where the 3N concealer just looks a tad lighter, and it looks like a great combo if you wanted to use the same shade and it be a little lighter. So next I'm going to swatch the Dior Backstage in 3N as well. And you can see this is the Dior Backstage. So the Dior Backstage honestly looks a little warmer, maybe like it has a little pink than the Dior Air Flash, but it is a totally different formula. I'm just looking at the viewfinder to see how it's catching that. So you can see there. So this is what I have on today. So let's move on to application. I'm going to start with the 3N. So it does have the Dior logo on the top, and the applicator is not your standard doe foot applicator. It is a brush. So I'm just going to, I will say that it does look lighter on the face as well as it did on the swatch. I'm applying the 3N as a spot concealer. And you typically, if you're gonna use a lighter spot concealer, you wanna do that spot concealing under your foundation versus over. But if you're gonna use a concealer that's the same shade as the foundation, I suggest applying the foundation first, seeing how much coverage you get, and then applying the concealer over it. So I will say it didn't apply as much coverage as a spot concealer. As you can see, I applied it there. I applied it there. Honestly, the Merit complexion stick did better than that. So I'm going to apply again. Let it sit. I will say this is a concealer. From testing it, you don't want to let it sit too long. It will be a little difficult to blend out the edges if you let it sit too long. So since the sponge didn't give me the coverage I was looking for, I'm blending this in with my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. That seems to be blending out a lot better and giving the coverage of a spot concealer that I was looking for. However, since it is lighter, I feel that this would be a shade that I would use to spot conceal under my foundation, because I want my base to be one solid color and I add the color to it or warmth that I want. So yes, you can blend this out to use as a spot concealer, but I wouldn't want to work this hard in blending this out so it doesn't look like I have lighter spots on my complexion. And once you apply your powder or any powder product such as blush or bronzer, you can definitely fix that, but I just rather have it one and done, do it underneath, apply my foundation, and keep it moving quickly versus all the blending. So there you can see it did provide better coverage with the brush as a spot concealer than it did with a sponge. And that's typical. The sponge will absorb product. It won't provide the coverage that you're looking for. And this is a slightly damp sponge. It's not really wet. So when it comes to application, I like brushing on the product on the back of my hand, just because it is one of those concealers that will dry quickly, and dipping with my brush. So on this side, I'm going to apply the 3N as an under eye concealer. And on the other side, I will apply the 2N. I do feel it is definitely lighter than the 3N foundation. So I like to apply and then dab that in with my finger, and the warmth of my finger really just seep that in. So here is 2N applied on the under eye. I will say immediately it like seeped into the crease under my eye, if you see that there. And if you can't see it, I'll try to zoom it in. So this will definitely be one that you're gonna wanna set. As far as under eye prep, I did apply the First Aid Beauty Niacinamide Brightening Eye Cream because this concealer can get a little drying. So if you really don't want that cakey, dry, flaky look under the eye, even if you're oily fully hydrate under the eyes. So even though I had my skincare, I had everything done, I applied this probably 10 minutes before I started doing my makeup. So there it is, and it's not set. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply 2N on this side under the eye, then we'll see what it looks like without setting it, and then we'll set it and see what we think. Okay, so moving on to this side, I'm going to, you saw it applied like on my hand. I'm going to, just for the sake of showing you the application with the brush it comes with, a little really does go a long way. So on this side, I'm gonna apply with a sponge. And I just feel this shade is way too light for me. I don't mind a slightly lighter under eye, but this is like stark, like way, way too light. I feel like this would look awful in a photo. But I definitely wanted to show you both shades. So there you see, it does look lighter, airier, a little does go a long way. If you're gonna blend it out right away, you can absolutely apply it on the under eye. If you're gonna blend right away, I definitely wouldn't suggest applying it on both sides or everywhere you're gonna do concealer and then blending little by little. I would say apply as you're going to blend. Some concealers do work better the longer they sit and warm up with the skin. In my opinion, this is not one of them. I will say immediately, without setting, you can see that concealer settling in the lines under my eye with the brush application. So although it is nice with the brush application, it would definitely be one that if you have any fine lines, you would want to set right away to prevent the concealer from going into those fine lines. So I'm going to blend that out and then set it. So this is the Pat McGrath Under Eye Setting Powder, and I'm just using a Wayne Goss artist brush. And these small, it's so soft. It will not move the concealer around. It won't scratch the under eye. So here we are. It's been 3 minutes since I applied it on this side, and you can see there it's slightly settling into the lines, but not as much as with the brush side. And set this side. So there you are. This is 3N and this is 2N. So let's talk about my final thoughts. I don't think that this is friendly for mature under eyes. This might be great if you're young, you don't have any lines under your eyes, and those are not concerns of yours. I really thought this would be great for oily skin. It is. Do I think it's waterproof? Absolutely not. Because upon the initial application, it's already settling into lines if I'm not setting it. As my oils seep throughout the day, I might have to lightly dab. This is not mature skin friendly and definitely not oily skin friendly. It is a drier formula. Even with the extra hydration with my regular skincare, with the extra hydration under my eye, and I set it, I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but it does start to look dry. It really does. I do not have that issue with the Forever Skin Correct. Not at all. I do tend to like to mix my concealers with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I have not tried that with this concealer because I really just wanted to see the concealer itself. I will give that a try and maybe update you in a future video. But like I stated, I don't think it's mature skin friendly. I don't think it's oily skin friendly. I think this is really, truly what it says for Backstage, for your 20-year-old models whose eyes are just completely flawless. and they're constantly getting, and their makeup's constantly getting touched up every time they go backstage, that's really what I think it's for. But for everyday use, I don't see that. As I played around with it, I do prefer them as spot concealers under my foundation. That's probably the best use I've gotten out of these versus the under eye. So if you're definitely considering a Dior concealer, I will highly recommend the Dior Forever Skin Correct. And I do have this in 2N and my foundations are 3N, and they pair greatly together. And the shade is not too far off, so they blend well together. It doesn't look as bright as the 2N of the Dior Backstage, but it really is a matter of preference. I hope you found this review helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And until next time, don't forget, we're all perfectly imperfect. Bye.